Thinking about launching a podcast but overwhelmed by all the moving parts? At TurnKey Podcast Productions, we take the hassle out of podcasting so you can focus on the talk, not the tech. From concept to launch, guest booking to post-production, we handle everything. Need a strategy to grow your show and turn guests into clients? Yep, we do that too. DIY or done for you, we've got the solution that fits. Whether you're just getting started or ready to scale, TurnKey is your behind-the-scenes podcast team. TurnKey Podcast Productions. Your voice, your message, fully produced. Learn more at turnkeypodcast.com/contact. That's turnkeypodcast.com/contact.
Here's what you get with this episode of The Nice Guys on Business.
You know, we just kept experimenting, and Dean has owned lots of businesses. He's older than me. He's got a lot of experience. And he said exactly what you said. Because I was always firing off ideas. You know, what's our core thing? And we used to say it's picking up dog poop. But it's really, the dog poop is the way we make our customers' lives easier, a little bit better. So that kind of became our main focus. What are we doing that makes our customers' life easier? Because that's what the people are really paying for.
Right.
And, over time, we just slowly stumbled backwards into solutions to all of these problems.
Oh, Toto, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. Well, except maybe the Nice Guys on Business podcast. Go from where you are now to where you could be. Get expert tips to grow your business, to be more productive and more efficient, whether you're trying to build influence, grow your community, or make it rain. Best-selling author of Nice Guys Finish First, Doug Sandler, can lead the way. The Nice Guys on Business is produced by TurnKey Podcast Productions. Now, here's your host, Doug Sandler.
All right, Nice Guy community. Today's guest is Mark Regan. Now, he doesn't give a shit. I mean, literally, he actually takes all the shit you can dish. Okay, so you understand that. He's the co-owner of Poop Away. Mark and his partner, Dean, have been cleaning up backyards for over 5 years. The unglamorous job of scooping poop has been keeping Mark and his team busy, thriving, and building a franchise model ready to scale. I'm excited to talk shit today, Mark. Welcome to the podcast, brother.
That was the best intro I've ever heard.
Well, to the other podcasters' defense, there hasn't been that many that you've had a chance. You're in the beginning of this whole process of getting your message out through podcasting. I think it's cool. And when I got the pitch from, I don't know if it was you or somebody on your team that sent it over to me, I'm like, it's a unique business. I want to talk about how to do this, not just the scooping the poop side, but actually the business model and getting the franchise off the ground and all that.
Yeah, I'm excited to tell you all about it. I mean, it's the business itself is novel, but the business building is, probably the same for any service business. It's, customer focused.
So first thing you had to do is you had to discover the problem that you had to solve. So how did you discover? Were you just tired of stepping in people's dog shit on their lawn and just like, hey, I got to get rid of this?
I love this story. I've told so many times. It was my partner's idea, and we worked together at a furniture store, and we would just walk in circles talking about business ideas. And he comes up with this idea: let's pick up dog poop. I think I had a dog. He'd just gotten a puppy, and he's like, people will pay for this. And I remember thinking, he's nuts. You're nuts. No one's going to pay for this. And he had this whole pitch that anyone could do it, right? It's low entry, no overhead. What do you need? A rake, a scoop, a bucket, and there's dogs everywhere. There's got to be people who don't want to do it. So he says, I'm going to put an ad on Craigslist. Mm-hmm. And I laughed because I'm like, Dean, we're already off to a bad start. Like, Craigslist is a terrible, terrible place.
Right, I got it.
And he's like, it's $5. He puts the ad up, and maybe 10 minutes after it goes live, we get our first customer call, who is still with us to this day, which is crazy. And I remember looking at him. I said, God, this might work. And I thought, we're going to be millionaires by the end of the year. One of these calls every 10 minutes, and that's it.
That's all it's going to take. So that's cool. So keep going. So you did the first customer, and I'm assuming you charged a price that you didn't really know what you charged. You just charged what you thought would be a fair price at the time.
That is so, that's, you hit the nail on the head because we got there and we went together because we didn't know what we were walking into and we had no clue what to charge. And so the guy's like, how much? And Dean goes, $20. And he hands us a $20 bill and leaves. And that for the longest time, we would just make up a number.
Right.
Just see. And that's, we started inching it up. What do people pay? $22, $25, $30, $35. And that was how we just built it, just one customer at a time and spamming Facebook town pages until they kicked us out.
I love it. I love your tenacity to do that in Nice Guy community. As Mark is talking, think about all of you engineers that are out there that have to know every fucking thing before you start your business plan because you need the plan together. Mark and his partner Dean started literally by running an ad. Didn't even know how much they were going to charge. Probably weren't even sure what they were going to do other than look. It's pretty simple. You're going to go to someone's house. You're going to pick up poop out of their backyard, and then you're going to put it in a bucket and take it home with you. And at that point, did you have any model for how often you would want to go or need to go, or had you thought through any of that stuff yet?
We had no clue. We didn't even have a way to bill people. I mean, we didn't have a way to track our customers. It was, you talk about the MVP, right? Your minimum viable product.
Right.
We were like sub minimum.
All right. So then how did you start piecing all this stuff together? Because at some point you said, hey, this is a good idea, but look, we have no billing system, so we need to do it through Stripe or do it through PayPal or however, or cash or whatever you're going to do. Then we need to have an invoicing system that we have. Then we have to keep track of where our customers are and we have to keep track of our schedule. And I'm assuming that both you and Dean were working still at your full-time job at the furniture store. So now you're coordinating schedules. You can't leave. He can't leave. You got it. So how did that all start to come together and gel?
So we were kind of lucky because the job we were working is a well-paid sales job, and we had days off during the week. So the big money's on the weekends. So we were able to service customers, and we didn't think we made some classic service business mistakes. Where we had our geographic ranges. We said the whole state will go anywhere, and we just started. We're like, who's in this business? So Dean asked the guy who mows his lawn, how do you keep track of people? And he goes, that's all in QuickBooks. So we got a QuickBooks subscription. How do you do the credit card? Like Stripe. We got a Stripe. That, I mean, I remember going to Staples, getting the little, a little card reader,
the little square thing, right?
The little square thing. And we just sort of piecemealed it together. We had a map and we would look at it. Okay, these customers are over here, so we'll do them on Tuesdays. And this customer's here, and we'll do them on Wednesday. We just kept testing and testing. And we knew as we built the business, we knew we wanted to franchise. We figured that out really fast. And we knew we were in a really good place because we could do what a lot of small business owners can't do, which is we could experiment. I wasn't relying on this to pay my bills. Mm-hmm. So we tried everything you could think of. We added services. We tried, okay, we'll scoop your kitty litter was one of our ideas.
I was going to say that. Did you expand to cats? Because sometimes it's challenging. The biggest challenge you have as a new business owner is what's your core proficiency? What are the things that you are excellent at? And core proficiency for you guys was going to people's houses and scoop and poop. You did not need them to be home, I'm assuming. But now you add the element of kitty litter, and now you've got to walk into somebody's house, which would require you either have a key or you need to have access to their home, which is a whole different set of barriers there.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And, we just kept experimenting. And Dean has owned lots of businesses. He's older than me. He's got a lot of experience. And he said exactly what you said. Because I was always firing off ideas. What's our core thing? And we used to say it's picking up dog poop, but it's really the dog poop is the way we make our customers' lives easier, a little bit better. So that kind of became our main focus. What are we doing that makes our customers' life easier? Because that's what the people are really paying for.
Right.
And over time we just slowly stumbled backwards into solutions to all of these problems.
I would think at a a complementing service to offer to dog poop pickup would also be dog sitting, I would think. But again, I could be completely wrong. Again, you need a whole different set of skills in order for that to be a service you offer.
Yeah, and we thought about that. We almost did dog walking too. And the only reason we didn't is this is my theory, is that we came up with the idea it was winter and we were like, I don't want to walk dogs in the winter.
Well, there you go. There it has to be something that I don't want to do it at this point. So and you're in New England, right?
Exactly, yeah, right in southern Massachusetts.
So for your geography, there's probably several months of the year that you may not even be able to find the poop because it's underneath, 2 feet of snow. Is that possible?
Yeah, it does happen. And we worried about that actually when we started, when we hit our first winter. Are people going to cancel? Are people going to say stop? But we just kept showing up, unless we just got a blizzard and there's snow on the ground.
Right.
And it turns out people would rather us just get as much as we can so that when April rolls around, they don't have 2 feet of dog poop in the yard.
Right. And it's probably a lot easier to find poop in, brown poop in a white snow.
It is. And it melts little holes. Like the other dog poops got little holes. So you just kind of look.
So typically, are you doing front yard, backyard? You're not doing like walkways around their house, or what are you doing?
We'll do anything we do. Yeah, front, the most common is like backyard or front yard, but we have some customers who have kennels. We do. Some customers just have a dog run and it's one little path we have to do. Yeah, we'll do whatever the customer wants.
It's funny. I wouldn't think that dog poop was as big a challenge as I'm imagining that it wouldn't be. It sounds like you've got so how many clients do you service in any given week or month or year, or how many do you have on your client list? Is that a fair question to ask?
Yeah, we're just about 400 customers.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Good for you. Good
we're
for
like
you.
next.
And you've been doing the business for 5 years. You got 400 customers. I'm assuming there's probably a pretty big profit margin that's involved. You have your vehicles insurance. You have gas to get your car going. But buckets and scoops aren't very expensive, right?
That's right. Very cheap. I mean, our profit margin is probably about 40%.
Right.
But when we were small and it was just us, I mean, it's basically 100%, depending on what you want to spend on.
Amazing.
Marketing.
All right, so let's go from what you did on a day-to-day to grow the business. It sounds like you ran some ads, you provided great service, you probably got a lot of referrals, all of the stuff that you need. Then you said at some point, look, I don't want to just do this. I actually want to I want to be a franchisor to get this off the ground. What was that challenge and how did that fit into your day-to-day?
So a couple things came together at once. We knew we didn't want to do the scooping ourselves forever, and we started hiring employees. We found out there's a big competitor out west, Judy Calls, and they franchise and they've done very well. And we started seeing little businesses pop up, competitors.
Right, the mom and pops are out there all the time.
Yeah, and at first we were a mom and pop too, and we're very open. There used to be a Facebook group that was like all mom and pop Cooper Scoopers, and people would trade ideas. And I started to realize there are some really smart, hardworking people that have no idea how to run a business.
Yeah, they know how to do the work. They're the worker bees, but they're not the business brains.
Exactly.
And I discovered that in every business that I've ever been participating in as well.
Yeah, right. And we found ourselves, answering the same questions even to our competitors, because there's so much dog poop. I mean, there could be 5 competitors in our area, our size, and we'd probably all be fine.
Right.
So, I have no problem helping. And we started running into the same questions over and over again. How do you figure out what to charge? How are you finding customers? How do you keep from going out of business? What do you do when someone comes in lower than you? And we're thinking, we know we don't want to do this forever ourselves. We know we want to grow. We kind of always thought we wanted to franchise. Like maybe this is it. I don't want to say we figured it out, but we've got a lot of knowledge that just came from banging our head against it.
Right. Absolutely. Trial and error. The school of hard knocks is a great way to go.
It is. And what is really it still surprises me is people will call us, ask for advice. I put my cell phone out there for anyone, and then I'll watch them not do it. and then go out of business.
Right.
And it's really strange. So we're like, you know what? Let's formalize it. And because as a garage business, this is like it's like a I don't want to say a get rich quick scheme, but it feels like that.
Well, okay, let's go back for 1 second because you said something that really did tick off one of those check marks in my head and said, okay, what was some advice that you would offer to someone that they just didn't listen to, or what is a typical piece of advice that one might receive and not follow and then find themselves out of business in a couple of months' time?
Oh, the big one is pricing. Uh, People price themselves out of business over and over and over and over again. And I I think folks think, well, I wouldn't pay because we start at $30. I wouldn't pay $30 to have someone pick up dog poop in my yard. I'd pay 15, so I'm going to charge 15. And then you talk to these folks and you say, well, what, how much money do you need to make to stay in business? You need to make, $40. Can you generate $40 worth of houses in an hour?
Right.
No. So
Right.
you have to raise your price. Or you're
Right.
going to go under. And, people they don't think about it. I'll do it. I'll figure it out.
I'll
But you
figure it
can't,
out. I'll figure it out. It never works well.
and it
You need
never
to
works.
trial and error has to work. And you also need to listen to a guy like Mark that has been through it. If somebody's asking Mark a question and he's been in business for 5 years and they're not following the advice that Mark offers, then, you probably are going to have a challenge with it because I'm sure, as Mark had just said, that he's, participated in the School of Hard Knocks. He's got life's lessons at his back. And so it makes it a little bit easier for him to know, I can't go in at $15, pay somebody to work for me because he doesn't want to scoop the shit. He wants to pay somebody else to do it. Somebody's
Bingo.
not going to do this for $3 an hour or $5 an hour. And there is a little overhead. There are some things that you need to set as your core. This is what I must do in order to stay in business. Okay, so take me from there. So now you've come up with this idea for a franchise, but you and Dean, I'm assuming, had never owned a franchise operation before. So now you have to work at establishing that. I mean, was there legal involved? Was there accounting involved? Tell me what was involved.
Both. We started reaching out to basically to franchise consultants and lawyers. And I had no idea what I was doing. Um, we got really lucky. It turns out the franchise company that helped launch Planet Fitness
Yeah, sure.
is like a town over. And I didn't know this guy was this huge, consultant and attorney, and he worked with giant businesses. So I just kept calling him. And finally, his name's Jack McGrow, super nice guy. He was like, man, I don't work with, I don't want to sell one franchise or two. I do 100 at a time.
Right.
But he was like, you know what? Forget it. I'll help you.
I'll do it. I'll just
Stop
so you
calling.
take your shit and get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. So he helped you again, nice guy community, the importance of having someone that has more knowledge than you, further down the path than you, someone that's an expert that you could actually use as a mentor or have you be a mentee to that mentor that's out there. So great advice to go out there and find somebody that has actually done this before.
Yes. And, you mentioned like I'm finding a mentor. I haven't mentioned yet, but as we grew, we got really lucky. And another guy started a software business aimed at pooper scoopers, billing and routing and all that.
Mhm.
And, he was kind of early and we were early. So we reached out to him and he has been, he's been a mentor for us because he has this eagle eye view of the industry. So that went a long way. So thank you, Augie. We'd probably be out of business if it wasn't for
Nice. Well, you mentioned that one word twice in our conversation, just the short 10 minutes or so that we've been talking, and the word was lucky. I don't see you as lucky. I see you as an opportunist. I see you not in a negative way, but somebody that sees an opportunity and recognizes it as hey, this isn't where my proficiency lies. I probably need to talk to somebody that's been doing this a little bit longer than I. And then you follow their advice. So I appreciate
Yeah.
you being relatable to our audience by saying lucky, but you really did have some skill in even though you probably figured, what do I have to lose? I mean, really, worst case scenario, all in at the very beginning, startup. How much did you spend on this business?
I mean, probably $50.
$50 to get started, and you put in more sweat equity than anything along the way, and
That's it.
you kept your jobs. Again, nice guy community, don't quit your fucking job yet. It's not time for you to do that. Just stay in the game a little while, build this side hustle in addition to doing your full-time gig until you can figure out how to transition. Now, are you still working your full-time job, or have you been able to transition out of that yet?
I do this full time, and I just work 1 day a week as a paramedic because I just love the work.
Got it. And how about Dean? Is he working a full-time job, or is he just doing this as well?
He still works. He works part time. I've been begging him to quit because he could.
Right.
I think he is like a master salesman, and he
Well,
still works in sales.
he loves it and he's making money. So,
Yeah, that's exactly it.
very typical to how we grew our production business. We own a podcast production business, and we've been doing it for probably close to 10 years now.
Wow.
I've been I've never had a full-time job outside of production while I've been doing the production stuff. Strickland is still, my partner is still working his full-time job because he loves it and it pays
Yeah.
good money. So why would you,
Why
you
not?
don't need to leave it if unless he's finding like, look, I think I'm gainfully unemployable. I don't think anybody would want to hire me at this point. I've 40
I
some
feel
odd
the
years
same
of
way.
self-employment. So, okay. So now you've met with people that are in the world of helping franchise ors start their business. You've gotten some advice from them. How far in that journey are you right now? Because I know that the franchise thing is obviously newer than the you doing the service thing.
Yeah, we are. It's been over a year since we started. It's a long process. It's an expensive process.
Okay, so
Um,
now it's getting serious now.
Now it's getting serious. And what I really appreciated about the lawyer and the consultant we talked to is they were upfront, and it was good to see because we need to be like that when we sell a franchise. They told us right up front, this is going to cost you 30. It's going to be $30,000 just to do the paperwork.
Right.
It's going to be probably another $10 or $15,000 to do all the state registration, the legal fees, and then
Got
you're
it.
probably going to need another 10 or 15 to float this business and advertise the franchises before you get a bite
Right.
that's worth your time.
Right.
And they were like, "Do you have that money?" And we were like, "No,
Right.
but we'll
Okay.
figure it out."
We'll figure it out. Got it. And how long ago was that conversation that you had?
That was probably just a little bit over a year ago.
And
We're finally at the end.
tell me if you're open to it, sharing this information. Have you struck the opportunity as a franchisor, putting franchisees out there in the world yet, or is that something that I know you're working towards it, but is that something that's been successful for you yet?
So we kind of like soft launch, the little franchise button is on our website now, but we haven't really started advertising. So that's kind of the spring for us it's the busy season. It's when, I don't know why it is in this industry, but that's when we get up probably 95% of our
People are
business.
seeing their lawns now. Now they're seeing that these little spots that have grown up really high with grass, and they're like, "Oh, there must be some dog shit that's under there." And you
That's
think about it
probably it.
too, the market in many different areas, they never, I'm in Southern California. There is never a winter here. There is always dog shit on the lawn. Maybe it's that geographically, maybe an expansion starting in the West, while it's not convenient or regionally convenient, what's geographically undesirable for someone, it may be desirable in terms of, look, it's dog poop season all year round. So we don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. And some of the other folks I know who do this, who are in warmer climates, their business growth is so much smoother.
Right.
It's just kind of this consistent inflow of customers where we just get like hammered for 2 months
Yeah.
and then it's dead again. It's
I
so
would
strange.
I would assume that there are many franchise consultants too that you could throw your hat in the ring where they could be offering your services, because I'm assuming that
Yeah.
dissimilar to a McDonald's, you don't have $1 million plus buy-in and have to have all these cash reserves. What are you thinking is typically going to be the buy-in to your franchise?
It's probably going to be like 40 grand. And it's the way we're going to do it. I think the way it's written in the FDD now is it's basically a $30,000 fee and then $10,000 for advertising in the first year.
Got it.
Because we know it costs about I mean, all across the country, somewhere between $130 to $150 per customer acquisition. So if you have that 10 grand, that's enough to kind of get you running, where you're bringing in enough cash flow that you can grow and maybe pay yourself a little bit.
And nice guy community, I'm not telling you what to do here, but if you're in the idea of you want a side hustle and you don't care if it's glamorous or not glamorous or what you're dealing with, I'm sure knowing that you would be on the front end of buying into a franchise that's just getting rolling, I'm sure that there is opportunity to negotiate with Mark and with Dean to get this going. I'm not telling them to drop their price. I'm just telling you to have a conversation with Mark so that you guys can figure out if it would make sense for you to be in the dog poop scoop business.
And you're right. There's definitely room, especially those first couple, because we're all going to be learning together.
Yeah, it's an interesting proposition that you have. So if you had to back up and advise yourself 5 years ago or whenever it is that you got started in the scooping business, advise yourself from today's wisdom back to 5 years ago, what information or what wisdom would you share with your former self?
I would have brought in technology a lot sooner. That really held us back. We were doing everything on paper. I don't know why. It was 2000, whatever, 18, 19, when we started. The internet existed, computers existed.
Right.
As soon as we brought technology in and we could see where are we making money, where are we not making money, who's not paying us, the business was transformed. So, some customer resource management software, it's really cheap. I'd say it's foundational for our business. We're a different business today because of that. And
what's so good is that nice guy community, if you go to callpoopaway.com, you'll get a real close look at the services. Obviously, it seems like it would be pretty straightforward what they do, but there's a lot of good info on here, not only about the services that they provide, but you'll get a chance to check out Dean and Mark and their personality. They have a little video that's on there that I was watching before. Pet waste station service, no more dog waste, mosquito, tick, and deodorizing treatments, all the services that they provide, and what you could do not only as a customer if you live in the New England area, but if you are interested in moving beyond that and seeing, look, I don't really know what I want to do. I don't care what it is, as long as it's a service that people need. Seems like this would be a pretty cool service.
Yeah, it is, and people love it. It makes their life easy.
What should I be asking you, Mark, that I'm not asking you? I know in the short time we've just basically touched upon your services and the different opportunities that you have, but is there something that you'd want to share with my community that we're not already talking about?
I think this is a luxury service, and one of the things I like to tell even my competitors or anyone who asks about this, people sign up in the short term because they're annoyed and they don't want to pick up the dog shit, but they stay because they don't have to think about it. So the easier you can make it for your customer, the better. They don't need to be chasing you, to see what day you're coming. If you tell them you're coming Tuesday, you come every Tuesday forever.
Right.
Because every time you change that, that's when they're like, you know what? I don't really need this.
Yeah, friction-free customer interaction. Isn't that one of the components of having a successful business? Make it easy for your customer. We have our pool guy in California. We have cats, so we don't have a dog pooper scooper that comes out here, but we have our pool guy. Every Tuesday, somewhere between 1 and 4, Sam is here. You know what? I can count on him being here that day. If I have guests coming for the weekend and he doesn't show up on a Tuesday, which is very rare, but if he doesn't, I'm on the phone trying to figure out, are you coming before the weekend? Because we have leaves and shit that's in the pool that need to be removed. And do I need to do it, or do you? The $20 or whatever it is every time he comes out, it makes it so much easier for me to know, look, he's going to be here. I don't have to think about it. And I think that is the type of service that you provide, Mark. It's not a glamorous service, but it's I don't have to think about it service, because I know Mark or Dean or somebody on the team will be here.
That's exactly it. You hit the nail on the head.
Awesome. Well, Mark, thank you so much for sharing. I knew when I signed you up to be a guest on the show, I thought it would be an interesting conversation, and you did not disappoint. It definitely was. And for those in our community that want to get more information about what Mark and Dean and the whole team do, please get over to the show notes so that you can click on the link so that you can see more about it. Mark, thanks for sharing your message today.
Thank you for the opportunity. It was a lot of fun.
Hey, Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Mark. All of his information, including access to his website, right there in the show notes. No shit. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Fill up your week with the Nice Guys. Have fun storming the castle, boys.